Get off me. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Yesterday, I put up some video footage. I haven't yet had a chance to provide an analysis of that alongside the video footage. I'll be doing that when my working arrangements have altered. But just to describe it to you, if you haven't seen it, and you can easily find it, it's Watch a Narcissist Being Fueled. In it, Harry and his wife are in the centre of a court at an arena. The arena is pretty sparsely attended. I suspect that part of that is because the event had ended and that people had drifted away. But one does gain the impression that many of the events are not as well attended as they could be, naturally as a consequence of the fact that Harry's wife is overshadowing events by once again looking to make it all about her with her late arrival, costume changes, etc., etc. As they're walking away in the middle of the court, Harry seems to try and get away from his handler. She does some strange little run walk to catch up with him, and then she notices a gaggle of young ladies over to one side. And she essentially tells Harry, after trying to utilize the grip of doom on him, that she's going to go over and see these people. These individuals are evidently pleased to see her, taken in by the cult of celebrity, unaware that she is a manipulative narcissist. They greet her with enthusiasm. Excuse me. That enthusiasm provides her with pure positive fuel. It buoys her. Although they're tertiary sources because they are strangers to her, nevertheless they're sufficient in number, and because of the proximate activity that is taking place, they provide her with sufficient fuel. She is then drawn to them because they're easy to control, they're providing her with fuel, and her narcissism basically says, get more fuel out of them, and here's an opportunity for a residual benefit, manage the facade. And thus, she instructs somebody to take a photograph of her while she's greeting these young ladies, shaking their hands, and there is a picture where she has her hand upwards as if she's blessing them in some way, and there are about 3 hands placed upon her. She is loving every second of this. Why? First of all, there are no threats to control. This is a compliant audience that is treating her favourably, and therefore, unlike many of the threats that she has been experiencing as of late, there is no threat to control being experienced in this instance. Therefore, all is good. Secondly, she's been provided with a large amount of fuel. There are possibly 8 or 10 individuals who will all be saying her name, who will be looking excited, that will be praising her, oh, I'm so pleased to meet you, etc. All of this provides her with a large amount of fuel in that instant. Not particularly potent, but large nevertheless. But it also provides her with this opportunity to manage the facade, to say to the world, see how I'm loved, see how these young women think I'm marvellous, see how they want to be me. And thus, because she's not being challenged, because she's receiving the fuel, she feels buoyed. She feels powerful. She wants to engage with these people because she has this peculiar fascination with young people. This is a woman who's in her 40s, yet she conducts herself as if she should be busy mates with people who are between 18 and 25. Witness the way that she talked to those individuals that she telephoned from the garden whilst wearing the turtleneck. She conducts herself as if she's one of them. Of course, this is a consequence of the threat to control that's posed to her by her aging. I have separate videos about aging and the narcissist, and there will be more to follow in due course, but for a somatic narcissist such as Harry's wife, aging presents a real and present danger to her. It saps her of her power. It's a threat to control, because the advancing years make her look less attractive than she believes that she is, and therefore that becomes a threat to control. The sagging skin, the chicken legs, the dried out complexion, the lines around the eyes, etc. All of this she seeks to fight against because they amount to threats to control. By being seen with young people who have unlined skin, whose skin is soft and supple, where everything should be where it should be, because it has not fallen prey to the ravages of childbirth, aging, or gravity. She, through character trait acquisition, a little bit like a vampire, if you will, drinking the blood of others to sustain themselves, believes that she thus becomes young by hanging around with people who are young. She also aims for people who are younger because it's easier to control them. They don't have the extensive life experience that other people would have. They're also less cynical in relation to her. That demographic of around about 18 to 25, 18 to 30 is regularly one that polls more favourably for the Sussexes compared to other demographics. Therefore, her narcissism is naturally going to gravitate towards those easy targets. And thus, she wants to be seen with these attractive, young, healthy, vibrant people. Why? Because they're easy to control, they're giving her fuel, and it makes her look good, and she can character trait acquire. Now, let us contrast that with the picture that you have seen in the thumbnail to this video. This is where there is a invalided competitor who is being pushed along by her carer. Harry's walking along, as is Harry's wife. Notice the hand of Harry's wife and the disabled individual. Harry's wife isn't holding that person's hand, she is holding on to Harry's wife. Harry's wife doesn't want to know. Where is the care? Where is the compassion for this person? There isn't any. She's gripping onto Harry's wife, but Harry's wife isn't holding her hand. There's no warmth, there's no compassion, there is no emotional empathy here for this individual who ought to be receiving it, given her status and the nature of the Invictus Games. In this simple act of body language, this is demonstrative of the absence of emotional empathy on the part of Harry's wife, and how this woman, in effect, offends Harry's wife. Because she's older, because she's confined to a wheelchair, she doesn't represent the vibrancy that Harry's wife wants. Harry's wife doesn't care about sick, injured, infirm individuals. In fact, they disgust her because they remind her of weakness, and weakness is a threat to control. Much of the time she masks this as a consequence of her facade, but as we can see here, there's no reciprocal hand-holding, but rather she is just about tolerating this lady holding on to her. She wants her to get off her. In fact, it's a threat to control, but because she's being photographed, she can't do so, and has to dole out the rictus grin instead. But the instance of where she wanted to hold the hands of those young women, contrasting with the tolerance, and it's barely tolerance, that she exhibits towards this elderly individual, is a brilliant example of the way that Harry's wife behaves, all driven, of course, by her narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.